Okay, so we're going to be talking about listings today. Who in the room wants more listings? I want to see a show of hands. Those of you that want more listings. Let me just see a few hands. Oh, I see a couple of hands raised. All right. Well, we're going to have a lot of fun. My wife and I just got back to. I actually live in Puerto Rico, and I haven't been to South Carolina in a long time. Need to get back out there. But this is the beauty of eXp. The power of eXp is that, you know, you're there and I'm there with you, even though I'm here. That's super cool. You know, I was actually traveling for about 3 weeks. I went to Cabo, had a great time there, and I picked up a little cold. So those of you that normally hear me or have heard me on YouTube and seen some of my stuff out there might say, man, Knolly sounds a little different today. Well, Uncle Knolly definitely sounds different because Uncle Knolly has a cold. Thank God it's not anything more than that. It's just a cold. But so I'm a little under the weather, but I'm super excited to present this to you. You know, when I got into real estate, I started with listings from the very beginning. Listings is the name of the game. And I know that you want more listings because you're here. I appreciate you for being here. I'm going to honor you. We're going to have a lot of time for Q&A too, God willing. That's my hope. But I want to honor you for being here because listings really is the name of the game. In this new, you know, in the new market that we're coming into, I call it the emerging market. It's not really even a new market. It's an emerging market because the market is what it is, and it's always emerging with something different, something fresh, something new, something that might shift a little bit. But this is a market where you want to be focused on listings, okay? And if you didn't get a chance to catch up on listings in our previous market, which actually you would have had a much funner time in our previous market if you had been focused on listings. Those of you that were focused on listings know what I'm talking about. Because here's the thing, she who owns the inventory, okay, he who owns the inventory dominates, controls the market, all right? And if you want to be the king and the queen of your market, you've got to get in the front position. You got to get ahead of the line. You got to get on stage. You have to get in front of the room. And you do that by focusing on listings. Listings is the name of the game. So what I want you to do is I want you to put in the chat right now for me. Throw it in the chat. Just tell me, why have you not gotten into listings in the past? Like what's for those that are kind of newer to listings, what's been holding you back from getting into the listing game? I want you to throw it in just type it right there for me in the comment. Okay, I see a few. What's up? You guys can see me now, huh? All right, so I'm
yes, sir. Bright smiling face right there with your cowboy wearing your hat on.
I'm in the house and I'm actually wearing my hat. Yeah, yeah. I'm not at the top of my game, but this class is going to be fire. It's going to be really good. So now while you see me, this is something I'm not sure about. If you see me on the screen, can you actually still see the slides or no? No slides, right?
No slides.
Okay, that's cool. We'll go back and forth. So let me see what the comments are here on why you haven't gotten into the listing game. Let's see. Okay, Michael says, man, I just started. I'm new. I'm new in the business. That's a great excuse, Michael. Just started. Russ says, I'm 50-50 buyers and listings. Dawn says, I just started. Okay. Sandy says, man, it's more work. It's expensive. Photos, measuring, staging. I got to do a lot of stuff. It's a lot more work to do listings. Crystal Greer says, I'm new and learning. Mary Beth says, just starting. Kimberly Fowler says, I'm just starting. Okay. And let me see what. Lisa says, man, I just enjoy working with buyers more. Okay. I don't enjoy hard conversations with sellers. Okay. Let's see. I'm new and haven't had the opportunity yet. Okay. That's Jodeci Jenkins. And then having trouble finding them. That's Kathy. Okay. And James says I'm comfortable with buyers. Okay, you guys are great. I love the participation. And Lisa says, even though buyers can be tiring. So let me just sum it up for you of why you haven't gotten into listings. Hold on, I see another one here. Kimberly says, I have my first listing. Oh, but it's a hoarder. Yeah. I remember. I've done so many hoarder houses too. So it's taken a while. Yeah, it's a hoarder house. So I appreciate you guys sharing. You guys are a great group. Y'all are awesome. So I just want to sum it up for you. Why you haven't gotten into listings? It's fear. You're afraid. That's it. There's no other reason. And I really appreciate you guys sharing the reasons. I appreciate you sharing the reasons out there. This is the same reason why I didn't get into luxury right away. It took me years to get in luxury because I was just afraid to work with those kind of sellers, right? Yeah, that somebody said that's what I was trying to say. That's Lisa. That's what I was trying to say. LOL. Yeah. Kathy says once I have listings dominated, you can have my buyers. LOL. So yeah, so true. So here's the thing. When I got into real estate, I read all the books, and I had come from come out of the music industry. Okay, I had a very successful career in the music game. I made my first $1 million when I was 29 years old. Actually made $2 million that year. I was making over $150,000 a month. Okay, not per year. I was making 6 figures a month, every month, in my 20s. I'm 53 now, so that was 30 years ago. And I've made millions and millions and millions of dollars, as well as made many mistakes, by the way. But one thing that happened in my market, in the music industry, was that the market shifted. Okay, and what happened was I didn't shift with the market, so I ended up getting shifted out of the market. At that time, everything went digital, and I was like, oh, I'll catch up later, or I made all these excuses as to why I didn't convert my business to what was happening. Okay, what was happening was digital. This is 2003. MP3 had just come out around 2000, 2001, somewhere in there. And I was still selling lots of CDs on my record label. I had 18 artists, and I did not digitize everything. And because of that, our sales dropped about 30%, and I couldn't make payroll. Okay, I had a $42,000 a month payroll that I couldn't make, and I ended up bankrupt. I was in bankruptcy, and at the age of 33, okay, I started that company when I was 23 years old. At the age of 33, I found myself saying, what's next for me? Like, what am I gonna do next? I had to start over. Anybody ever had to start over? Have you done something before real estate? Raise your hand if you did something before real estate. And then now you're having to start over. Okay, I see a lot of hands. So I'm just like you. There's no difference in me and you, okay? So when I got in the business, all the books were telling me, you gotta focus on listings, Knolly, listings. And I didn't know any better. So I said, well, if all the books are saying about that I should focus on listings, that's what I'm gonna do. Now, when I took the tests, all the tests that they tell you to take, the DISC test and everything, and I have all my agents take those too. But when I took all the tests, everything said that I was a lead buyer specialist. That was my profile. Okay, I'm high on the SC scale on the DISC profile. I'm a high I, and then I have a high SC. So that means that I should be a lead buyer specialist. But what I learned was that even though everything says I should be focusing on buyers according to my personality, sellers is actually something that I can do, or that everybody says I should do. So I got in the game. I took 21 listings, okay, in my first 74 days in the business, okay? And so I hear a lot, oh, I'm brand new. I'm new in the business. I just got, somebody says I'm high IS too. All right, you're in good company here. We're kind of messed up, right? But we have some handicaps, but we can get through them. It's okay. It's okay. So I was new to the business. Okay, 90 days in the business. I had less than 90 days in the business. I had over 20 listings. I'm gonna tell you how I did it. It was a focus of mine. Okay. And so the excuse that you're new in the business, that doesn't really hold up. See, it does. There's a lot of people who are going to tell you, you have to focus on buyers until you get good enough in this industry, until you finally one day you graduate to listings. And that's not true. That's a lie. That's not the truth at all. And as Brent Gove said, he wishes that he would have focused on listings way before he did, okay? And I didn't know any better. That's what everybody was telling me, so that's what I did from the beginning. I didn't know it was hard. Now I hear a lot of people saying, oh, listings are hard. Now let me tell you an absolute fact. If you work the listing game, you'll work a third the amount of time as if you work with buyers. Let me say it again. You can actually do, in a year, you could do 90 listings in the same time it would take to work 30 buyers. Okay? You can do, and this is scientifically proven. This is, all the books point to this, and because listings is a highly leveraged space in the real estate game. Highly leveraged. In fact, when I looked at listings, and I wrote several books about how to succeed in listings, and in my practice, I had a 46-step listing system, okay? And what I realized that there was only about 3 of those steps that I actually personally had to do, and there were only 5 of those steps of the 46. Like step 1 is to generate the lead, step 40 is to close the transaction, and then there's 6 steps that happen after the closing. Well, there's only 3 of those steps, 3 or 4, depending on what state you're in, that actually require a license, okay? Everything else can be done by someone else. And so we're gonna talk about that a little bit. When people tell you that listings is a lot harder, that is absolutely false. Listings might be a little bit more traction to get started in, okay? There might be more of a front end game to it, but once you get the listing game down, it is so easy. I mean, literally, you price it right, you do a few things to get the house ready, you put it on the market, somebody's gonna bring you a buyer, and it's a guaranteed paycheck. I've got one of my mentorship masters in my revenue share group. She took, let me see, in the last 30 days, she actually took over 20 listings. And I actually did a YouTube video. Her name is Tammy, T-A-M-M-Y Manning. If you look on my YouTube channel, you'll see a YouTube video that I did with her on how she got over 20 listings in 3 months. Right now she's averaging 4 to 5 listings a week. That's insane, okay? In my career, I took over 1,000 listings during my first 10 years in the business, over 1,000. About 93, 94%, or actually 96% of my focus has always been on listings from day one, okay? And I've sold, over 1,200 listings at this point. When I was, when I was 4 years in the business, I became the #1 real estate agent in Austin, Texas. There was 9,800 agents, 9,800 of us. My production was ranked #1 in the city because I did 96 transactions through MLS that year as a solo agent, okay, as a solo agent. And actually did more than 100 deals that year, but 96 of them were tracked through MLS. So let's jump into the material. And this is not from, I share with you a little bit about what I've done, only for you to realize that this is something that you can do as well. This is not exclusive, to me. This is something you can easily do. So let's go back to the presentation, and let me cancel that. Okay, so just a little bit about me. 96% of my focus has been on listings. We talked about that. I'm dedicated now to paying it forward. I'm here to help you succeed in the listings game. And if others have told you you couldn't do it, I'm here to tell you that that's not true. It just simply isn't true. I want to thank you for being here, because there's a lot of places that you could be other than being here. Now, what we're going to really focus on today are the 3 listing buckets where all the leads that you need are going to come from. And then we're going to focus on the 5 actions you should take. And then I'm going to answer questions. Now, I do have another segment, the 8 key sources for listing leads in today's market. But here's the thing. eXp University actually interviewed me, and they allowed me to present the 8 key sources in an interview, which is out on YouTube. So I'm not going to spend up the time that we have here, precious time that we have together, going over that material, because you can just watch the YouTube video. It's actually the #1 fastest growing YouTube video on our eXp channel, on our eXp YouTube channel. It's the fastest growing YouTube video, over 5,000 views in less than 90 days. And so it's outperforming all the other videos there. And why? Because we all want to learn more about how to get listings and where do we get them from. So, so with that, let's get into these 3 buckets first. Now, before I do that, I want to share with you that there is a dream life that I'm hoping to help you get to. I call it a dream life. I want you to be able to make $250,000 or more a year, working 20 to 30 hours a week or less, having nights and weekends off, taking 4 to 5 vacations a year, and being debt free. Now, if that's the kind of lifestyle that you're game for, let me know. You throw it in the chat. Say, I'm good. I want that. You know, raise your hand. Whatever you got to do, tell me, is that the kind of life you want? Nights and weekends off. I see, yep, yes, me. I'm ready. Lisa says, I'm ready. Kathy says, yep. Kimberly says, me. Mary says, yes, please. So with that, we're going to get into it because I got to tell you, if you work buyers, you can't have this life. Satoria says, yes. Mary Beth says, yes. Let me say it again. Crystal says, yes. Let me say it again. When you focus on buyers, you cannot live this life that you just said you want. You can't work 20 or 30 hours a week or less. You might be able to, but you can't have nights and weekends off. I guarantee you that. Unless you hire a showing assistant, you could kind of do it that way. 4 to 5 vacations a year, forget about it. Okay, you know, you're talking about going on that cruise and you got 6 buyers you're working right now. You're on lockdown. Now, if you have 6 listings, no problem. We're going on a cruise. You just hand those 6 listings over to Kimberly or to Lisa or to Michael or to Sandy or somebody else in this room. You hand those listings over. Say, hey, babysit these for me. I'm going to be gone for 10 days. When I get back, I'll take them back from you. And I'll pay you. If one of them closes, I'll give you $500 for your time or $1,000, whatever you want to give them. So listings has afforded me this lifestyle, and it's what I want to share with you. So how do you find listings to begin with? So you want to focus on the 3 lead buckets. I'm going to share with you the 8 strategies on the YouTube video. We'll get that link out to you. But the 3 buckets are these. Number 1 is your sphere of influence. Number 2 is your farm. And number 3 is your niche. Now, if Uncle Knolly's going a little fast today, don't worry about it. Because I'm going to give you access to a book. It's free. And it's where I share with you these concepts. And I really take the time to break it out. Okay? So don't worry about if it feels like it's going fast. It might feel that way. And it will be that way. But there's a lot of content I want to cover. And I want to be able to answer your questions too. But I won't leave you hanging. You'll have some homework to do after class. So your sphere of influence, farm, and your niche. From these 3 buckets, you'll generate all the listing leads you need. I remember years ago when I had, I think at that time I had taken 500 or 600 listings. And I was about maybe 5 or 6 years into the business. And I started asking myself, and people were asking me, man, where are you getting all these listings? And I tracked it down. There was about 12 or 13 different sources of leads that I was getting listings from. But they all fell into 3 buckets. And that's really good news because you don't have to go chasing all over the place to get listings. You can find them in these three areas, okay? So let's just go through them real quick. And again, I'm gonna give you some homework that will really, really pull this out quite a bit more. So with the sphere of influence, I like to practice what I call an 18-touch system, okay? So it's a KISS method. Keep it, what? No, not that. Somebody said keep it simple, stupid. That's mean. No, keep it super simple. Or my favorite one is keep it simple, sweetheart. It's a KISS method. And the reason I make it so simple is because if it's not easy, you won't do it. Okay, not easy, you won't do it. So you have to have a monthly e-newsletter. Thank you. Ginger lemon. My wife just brought me some ginger lemon tea.
It's warm.
And it's warm. Is it hot? Here, I'll wait to drink that. Yeah. I'll take a little sip here in a minute. So your monthly e-newsletter, it's got to be set it and forget it. That means that once you set it up, it just automatically goes out. Okay. A quarterly mailing, postcard. Now, most of this, I'm going to tell you right now, most of this is going to go right over your head. Don't worry about it. Okay. Just relax. It's okay. I got you. Okay. I'm not going to leave you hanging. So a lot of this is going to go right over your head, but you're going to be able to come back and listen to this again. I'm actually recording it. I'm doing a YouTube live with this information right now, just in case we didn't get it recorded here in the room. So don't worry about, taking all kinds of notes and everything. That's cool, but just be with me here. A quarterly mailing, a postcard, and a semi-annual call to your top 200 people, okay? Now, I guarantee you, if you will employ this method for your SOI, even if you have 200 contacts that you're working with, if you have more than 200 contacts, your top 200, those are the ones that you're gonna call, your top 200, okay? And then the quarterly mailing, the postcard, that is gonna be the same postcard. So you get a postcard made, okay? And you get you send the same postcard, and it's gotta be seller-centric, by the way. What could your home be worth in today's changing market? Are you curious about what your home is worth today? Something that speaks to sellers. Are you thinking about selling your home? Something like that needs to be the message. I actually have some samples of this in the book that I'm gonna share with you. So don't worry about trying to figure it out. I've got, visuals and all that. So this method will only take you, I've clocked it with the agents that work with me. This only takes 2 to 3 hours a week. Let me say it again. This takes you about 2 to 3 hours a week of your time to put this particular SOI plan in place. Now, the second bucket is going to be your farm. And that bucket is, I don't have time to really go into how to do that, but your geographic farm is, I hear a lot of people that fail with farming, okay? That should be a title, by the way. I don't think I've ever said that, but they fail with farming. Why you fail at farming, maybe we'll do a YouTube video. But the reason is because they don't do farming the right way. There is a right way to do it. Your geographic farm should be 500 to 1,000 homes, should be nearby. The price range should be commensurate with the kind of homes that you want to sell. And the other thing is that it should have a 7% turn. Okay, what does that mean? That means if there's 1,000 homes in that farm, then there should be about 70 homes that sell every single year, okay? So 7% turn. By the way, people tell me all the time that farming is expensive, but what I teach, farming it's never costed me a penny. Okay, I teach you how to farm for free, F-R-E-E. Oh, that T is good. Now, free is my favorite 4-letter word, by the way. I love the word free. What eXp has done for my career is allowed me as a coach and trainer to bring the price of almost everything I have down to free. Not everything, but just about everything I have is almost free now because of the gift of eXp. I have a revenue share group that brings me enough revenue every month to where I don't have to worry about feeding my family, and then I can share with you the stuff that I've learned without having to worry about you paying me for it. I think it's really cool. I love it. I love it. So that's farming, okay? And then your niche. I know I'm going fast, but don't worry about it. You'll be able, for those of you that say, you know what? I like what Uncle Knolly's talking about. I want to specialize in listings. You'll have so much information that's going to take you months to unpack. Okay, so don't worry about it. So your niche, that's your specialty. Now, by the way, when I talked about farming for free, let me see if I can go back there. Yeah, so when I talked about farming for free, just imagine, if you're using Every Door Direct Mail, it's going to cost about 20 cents per house to send postcards to those homes. Now, if you send out 1,000 postcards, it's going to cost you $200, plus about $50 if you use GotPrint, GOTPRINT.com, GotPrint.com. They do really good work and they're inexpensive. You can get 1,000 postcards for like 15 or 20 bucks. So all told, it's not going to cost you more than 250 bucks. Okay. Now, then on the back of the postcard, you've got 4 trades. How many? 4 trades. You've got maybe you've got a handyman, you've got a painter, maybe you have a carpet cleaner and a lawn service. Okay. And each of them pays $75 or $100. Let's just keep it at 75. They pay $75. You go to 3 painters and say, look, I got the deal for you, man. If I've got this neighborhood, all the homes are, 600,000 to $1 million, and I'm gonna be mailing to all 1,000 of these homes every quarter. And you can piggyback on that mailing for $75. Think about it. If you got a paint job, how much money would you make from one paint job? Oh, several $1,000s, right? Well, this is only $75, going to put you in front of over 1,000 homeowners every single quarter. Are you in? Oh, you're not? Okay, well, let me go to the next one. You see, so it's so easy. You just get 4 trades, 75 bucks a piece. Now you've got $300, okay? They're on the back of your postcard, and they sponsor the entire cost. Didn't cost you a dime. So I've got a lot more tricks like that in my book that I'll be sharing with you, so you don't have to worry about spending money, okay? Now, finally, your niche. Now, I don't know in South Carolina if you guys call it niche. We call it, in Texas, we call it niche. You got a niche to get rich, right? And your niche is gonna be your specialty. That's what sets you apart from the other agents in your area and what you're known for. When you think about a cardiologist, the research has been done. A cardiologist, get this, a cardiologist, somebody that works on your heart, is completely irrelevant to most people because most people don't have heart problems. But if you have a heart problem, whoa, I mean, not only are you relevant, if you're a cardiologist, you're relevant and you're sought out and you're in demand, okay? So this is the reason why cardiologists, according to research, they work about 30% less than a general practitioner, okay? 30% less hours that they work, but they make about $156,000 more per year than a general practitioner, okay? They work 30% less. They hardly work nights and weekends, by the way. And so when you're a specialist, you just make more money, okay? So when you look at these 3 buckets, when you look at a top listing agent, you're like, man, where are they getting all this business? Well, the truth is, you and I might look at it like, oh, they're just lucky or whatever. No. They're working these 3 buckets, okay? So if they want 6 listings a month, they're gonna get 3 from their sphere of influence, they're gonna get 2 from their farm and 1 from their niche. If they want 10 a month, they just up the numbers. 5 from the sphere of influence, 3 from their farm, and 2 from their niche. Now, I know if you're new in the business, this sounds like big numbers, but I gotta tell you, I had a coach when I first got in the business. I was 8 months in the business, and I went to my coach, and I wanted to do about 20 deals a year. Okay, about 20 deals a year. I thought that was phenomenal, actually. And so I went to my coach. My coach said, Knolly, what do you want to do? Well, I thought I was going to impress my coach by doubling my numbers. Have you ever done that? Have you ever gone to somebody like, a coach or mentor, and they ask you how much production you want to do, and you just double it, like, oh yeah, I want to do this, because you think it's going. Well, you know what she did? She poo-pooed it. She said, Knolly, so instead of 20, I told her 40. 40 deals. This is gonna lay her flat, like 40 deals a year. You know what she told me? She said, Knolly, why wouldn't you do 100 deals? 100 deals a year. I said, 100? Dad, now get this, I'm 8 months in the business. A lot of you guys are using the excuse that you're new in the business. It doesn't fly with Uncle Knolly. Uncle Knolly doesn't go for excuses like that. Why? Because I have so many agents that I've coached and mentored that have done 6 figures their first year in the business. Okay, so she said, why wouldn't you go for 100? And because she said, I guarantee you, if you do 100 deals a year, you'll work half as much as if you do 20 deals or 40 deals. Okay, let me say it again. If you go for 100 deals a year, you'll work half as many hours as if you go for a much lower number. And there's a lot of reasons for that we won't get into today. But I didn't know any better, so I said, look, Coach Julie, this is what she's telling me, so I'm just gonna trust her because she's a baller, okay? She's a rock star. I'm 8 months in the business. Yes, at 8 months in the business, I had knocked down some deals, okay? But I wasn't like Coach Julie. And so I believe what she said, and a lot of you're listening to the sound of my voice right now, you set the bar low. You set the goal low for yourself, and Uncle Knolly's here to tell you, you don't have to work more just because you make more. In fact, the more money you make, the less you work, okay? Let's look at the captain of our ship, Glenn Sanford. I love him, great guy. the bigger eXp gets, the less he has to work. I just got to say it that way. I don't know any other way to say it. All he has to do now is use his superpower, his genius of being a visionary, and just come up with new frontiers and new ideas. But he doesn't have to really work as hard as when he was first starting eXp with 100 agents. You see, it just gets easier when you get bigger. Now there are 8 listing sources for today's market. We're not going to go into this today. I'm going to show you what they are, but I'm not going to go through it. Why? Because I want us to have more time together for Q&A. And this was the subject of a video that I shot for eXp University, and has become the #1 fastest growing eXp training video in the history of our YouTube channel for eXp. So if you go to the eXp, many of you are subscribers to the eXp YouTube channel. You'll find it. It's the 5th. It's #5 most popular video on the channel right now, and it's there. So I spent 30 minutes just going through these 8 listing sources, so that I don't have to spend those 30 minutes with you now doing it, because we've only got an hour together. I mean, that sounds like a lot of time, but with Uncle Knolly, an hour is like 10 minutes, because that's how I roll. All right, so 8 listing sources for today's market. I'm just going to rattle them off, but don't worry about figuring them out. Trial listing, that is a genius strategy. If you don't know it, which I know you don't know it, because I didn't learn it till a few years ago, and most people don't know it. That's a genius strategy. Pre-NODs, okay, pre-notice of defaults. Not NODs, but pre-NODs, super hot area right now. Old expireds, that's all I'm gonna say. Not expireds, old expireds, super hot. Your sphere of influence, we talked about that already. Probate, okay? That is a huge market, always will be. That's a market that survives any market, probate, okay? That's when you're working with people, with the families of those who have deceased, and they have to liquidate the property. Divorce, another big one. Okay, a lot of people right now are facing this dilemma. You know, we're closing the gap on over 50% divorce rate, and so many of those properties have to be liquidated. And if you become a divorce specialist, guess who they're going to call? You. Okay, circle prospecting. If you don't know how to do it, you're going to learn how to do it on the video. Also in my book, I teach you how to do it as well. And then off the market listings. Okay, super critical for these 8 lead sources, but again, we won't go into them because we don't need to. I'm going to share with you lastly the 5 actions to take right now. Okay, can you guys hear my stuffy nose? I know it's stuffy right now, but Uncle Knolly,
It's not too bad.
it's not too bad. But hey, you know what? You know what I did this morning? I said I need to get on and perform. I'm not gonna let this get me down. So I jumped in my sauna. We have a steam sauna, so I jumped in the sauna. I did a 25-minute sauna, okay, and with ozone therapy, and then I took a nice shower, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good enough to do this. So
Awesome.
yeah, thank you. So what are those 5 actions that you should take right now to upgrade your success? We're gonna go through these quickly, and then guess what we're gonna do? Q&A. That's right, Q&A. All right. So #1, you have to shift your mindset. Now there's a book that I love. Let's see if I have it behind me. You guys can't see me right now, but when I turn back on my computer, those of you on YouTube can see me, but in the world you can't see me. It's called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. That is a book that I absolutely love by Joseph Murphy. The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. Okay. Don't worry about writing it down. You're gonna go back. You're gonna get this video is gonna be on my YouTube channel as soon as we finish this, so you'll be able to rewind and replay and all that kind of stuff. So, but you have to shift your mindset. Get away from that kind of thinking that you guys were talking about when Uncle Knolly first asked you. Now, I know a lot of you have already elevated your mindset just in the 30 minutes we've been here, because I can feel it. I can feel that you elevated your mindset. Raise your hand if you feel like your mindset has already been elevated some, like some, since we've been meeting. Oh, I see a lot of hands raised. So this mindset is being elevated. Because at first, I saw a lot of excuses as to why you're not in the listings. And they were good excuses. I love them. Uncle Knolly could have been like, man, I'm sick. I'm not going to do a class today. You know what that is? That's an excuse. Okay? That's cool. And there's reasons why we have to not do things. Well, I get that. But what I'm here to do is I'm here to take away the excuse and give you the power to succeed, okay? And when you shift your mindset and start saying, you know what? I am a top lister. Here's what I did. Let me tell you about a mindset shift that happened to me when I first got in the business. When I first got in the business, I was so set on the fact that I needed to focus on listings, okay? Listings, okay? Listings. I was so set on it that when I got my business cards, okay, mind you, I'd never worked with a buyer, never worked with a seller, never worked with anybody. I was new in the business. You know what my title was on my business card? It wasn't realtor. It wasn't real estate professional or whatever. I see a lot of titles. It was listing specialist. That was my title. My very first business card that I ever had printed, listing specialist. That's a mindset shift, guys, okay? I shifted my mindset from the beginning to say, you know what? Now, I didn't say I was a mega listing agent. I didn't say I was a top lister. That came later. What I said was I was a listing specialist. Don't you have the power to specialize in anything you want in this business? Yes, you do, okay? So you can become a listing specialist, and by the way, you should. So it's just a shift in your mindset, very important. You gotta do the two. If you wanna succeed in this game, you gotta do the two. What do I mean by that? I mean, the two most important things in your business are gonna be generating leads and going on appointments. Generating leads and going on appointments. There are 46 steps in the listing cycle, and if you only did these two things, you would be ahead of probably 95% of agents if you only focused on these two things. And by the way, I got my career, my business to the point where I was only doing these two things, and everything else I leveraged and had other people doing, okay? I generated the lead and I went on appointments. That's all I did. And I had other people handle everything else, okay? Now, every day you should be lead generating for 2 hours a day, okay? Every day. If you want listings, that's what you got. That's the game. That's what you got to do. So you gotta, from 9 o'clock to 11, you gotta be in your lead generation bunker generating leads. People ask me all the time, man, how do I do that? Well, don't worry about it. I've got a book that's gonna called Triple My Listings. It's gonna take you straight, step by step through how to do it. It's absolutely free, okay? And I'm gonna show you how to get it here in a little bit. So 4 days a week. So I want you, it's a 2x4. 2 hours a day, 4 days a week, I want you generating leads in your lead generation bunker. And I go into detail on that in the book. Number 3, you gotta focus on listings. That's what we've been talking about. You have to focus on listings. Forget about, you work better with buyers, listings are harder. I gotta do buyers until I can graduate the listings. Listings take more work, listings take more money, it's more time. Sellers are hard to talk to. Forget about all those excuses. Focus on listings, guaranteed, and you will be the master of that game, okay? Number 4, you have to become famous. I do a lot of training on this. I do a lot of YouTube videos, and I even have an overnight celebrity success toolkit for those that want to sort of cheat and get to the front of the class quick. I have a whole toolkit that helps you with that. But you want to become famous. You want to, you should be well known in the areas that you serve. You don't have to become famous worldwide. You don't have to become famous statewide. You don't have to become famous citywide. You don't even have to become famous, throughout your county. But you do have to become famous throughout the areas that you serve, okay, throughout the neighborhoods that you serve. You need to be top of mind, and there's a whole lot of strategy that I teach on how to do that. But you want to become famous. There is no merit in you being a secret agent. Let me say it again. There's no merit. You're not going to get any extra award for being humble. I have a guy that I coach right now, David. He makes $25,000 to $30,000 a month. And he knows he's been doing that for about 4 or 5 years. And many would raise their hand and say, I'd love to be in his shoes. But he knows that he should be working less and that he should be doing more. Like not working more, but he should be achieving more than what he is. He should be at $100,000 a month right now, okay? And his whole thing is about being humble. Well, I'm a humble person. Forget about that, okay? What you want to be is known. People should know who you are, okay? And Jesus Christ is very humble, okay? But also very well known, no problem, okay? Doesn't mean you have to be haughty, arrogant, prideful, boastful, all that kind of stuff. That doesn't mean that you have to be all that to be famous, but you should be famous, okay? And then lastly, you want to lead generate according to your personality profile. This is super important. A lot of people miss this, but it's the last piece of information I'm going to give you before we get into some other really good stuff. You want to lead generate according to your personality profile. What does that mean? That means you want to take your DISC test, your passion test, your genius test, any test that you can take. The DISC is the one that I like. It's easier. Most people know about it. And then whatever you are, if you're like me, I'm not a DI like most listing agents. Most listing agents are high D, high I. I don't happen to have any D. So really I shouldn't be a listing specialist, a listing agent. But I knew that I wanted to be in the listing game. So I just utilize my personality and I bring it into this. And so no matter what your personality is, when you show up on a listing, you do you. You be you. You show up as you are. Okay. Now, now I'm not talking about being unprofessional. Okay. All right. Don't. We're not going there. But I'm saying if you're not super salesy, don't be super salesy. Like when I go, like I don't do any selling. I don't sell because I don't have that within my genetics. By the way, do you know what selling is? The best definition of selling that I've ever heard is finding out what people need and making it easy for them to get it. Okay. Find out what people need and want and make it easy for them to get it. That's what sales is. Okay. Any of us can do that, but you have to do it, in my opinion. And if you want to love what you're doing, you want to have fun at it, you want to make it easy for you. You know, people say, man, this is hard. Well, it's only hard, excuse me, because you're not doing it according to your personality profile. If you're doing business according to your personality profile, it'll never be hard. It'll always be easy for you, okay? So find out who you are and be you in every situation. So this is what we learned today. I'm gonna quickly go through this. We learned about those 3 buckets for all the listing leads that you need come from, the 5 actions that you need to take right now, and of course, I'm shared with you how to get the 8 key sources. I'm gonna actually pop onto our YouTube channel so I can grab that link and share it with you. And then, you know, maybe you feel like this right now. This is, those of you on YouTube can't see the picture. You know, maybe you feel like, man, you just been, Uncle Knolly just put the fire hose on you, the water hose on you. Like, whoa, this is a lot. Raise your hand if you feel like this right now. Like you just got the water hose put on you. Like this is a lot of information, right? Yeah, well, I tell you what, the story continues. And what I want you to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're not already a subscriber on my YouTube channel, you should do that right now because every day, how often? Every day, Uncle Knolly drops content, okay? It might be a 6-minute piece, an 8-minute piece, a 1-hour piece like I'm doing today. It might be, 5 minutes. But every day, you're gonna be learning something that's gonna get you closer to where you wanna be as a listing specialist. So that's at Knolly.tv. Knolly.tv, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. So you definitely want to do that. That's the first thing you want to do. We talked about living your dream life. Those of you that want to do this, most of you said you want it. Earning $250,000 or more a year, 19 weekends off, 4 to 5 vacations a year, debt-free, and actually working. A lot of my students, I've gotten them down to where they just work 3 hours a day, and actually have a book that's coming out soon on McGraw-Hill. You want this book in your arsenal. It's called 3 Hours a Day, okay? And in this book, I teach you how to really, not just how to have a business worth owning, but also how do you take your business and make it to where you're only focused on the most dollar productive activities. Proverbs 10:22 says this, and I love it. It says, the blessing of the Lord brings wealth without painful toil for it. And the NLT says, the blessing of the Lord makes a person rich and he adds no sorrow with it. When I asked earlier today, how you guys are doing with, the business, I heard a lot of sorrow. And the truth is you can be wealthy in this business without the sorrow. Listings is the way to do it. And then there are 3 types of freedom. There's financial freedom, time freedom, and location freedom. If you want all 3 of those freedoms, that's what the 3 hours a day is going to teach you. So most of you, this is you inside your business. And I say, get this information while you're brand new to the business. Don't wait until you've been in the business a year, 2 years, 3 years, or God forbid, you're out of the business. Did you know that according to statistics out there right now, 30% of agents won't be in business in a year from now? Did you know that? 30% of agents won't be in business. So that means a third of the room right now, if you in the room, won't be here. I want to prevent that from happening. I know it's not going to be you, because you're going to take the action that you need to take today, so that not only are you here, but you're actually running the game. You're like the king or the queen of the game in that amount of time. If you really want to live above the maze, which is where you really should live, instead of living in the weeds and in the drama and in the minutia of the everyday business, then that's what 3 hours a day is all about. So I highly, 3 hours of every day that you spend should be focused on income producing activities. And what are they? Generating leads, going on appointments. Yep. And so I encourage you to pick up this book, 3 hours a day. Go to 3hoursaday.com. Those that pre-order, it's on McGraw-Hill, so I can't give it away for free because McGraw-Hill wouldn't like that. But for those of you that pre-order it, I've got almost $300 worth of free bonuses that you'll be able to grab just for pre-ordering the book. So go to 3hoursaday.com. You definitely want that if you want to get ahead of the class and you want to cut a 7 to 10 year learning curve off the trajectory of your success. You know, I've been an entrepreneur for over 30 years. Actually, I became an entrepreneur at the age of 12, and I'm 53 now. I know I'm dating myself, but over 40 years as an entrepreneur, and this is the best stuff that I've learned on how to really operate your business without having to work a lot. Okay, super important. So that's 3 hours a day. This is a chance for you to ask me any questions. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to turn on my, let me see if I can share my webcam again. And we got a few minutes, don't we? We got a couple of minutes for you guys to, if you have a question, throw it in the chat or unmute yourself. Now, there are some freebies that I've promised as well. Hold on a second. Let me grab those. Okay, so this book right here is the one that I was telling you guys about. It's called Triple My Listings. Okay, Triple My Listings. And you can go to my website, Knolly.com. All the stuff that I'm talking to you about today is on my website, knolly.com. I'll throw it in the chat. Actually, could somebody throw that in the chat for me? knolly.com. That's the website that you'll find all my stuff. And you can get your book, Triple My Listings, there. Or, of course, you can go to triplemylistings.com and get it. It's absolutely free. You pay the shipping, and I send this book to you. But this book has 27 marketing ideas for free seller leads. So if you want Uncle Knolly to really unpack a lot of what I've been talking to you about today, in a book, along with videos that go along with it that you can scan and watch, this is the book that's gonna do that. I guarantee you, you will have this book on your desk for the next year at least. As you're in your lead generation bunker, you're like, okay, what am I supposed to do now? What did Uncle Knolly say about that? Oh, here it is. Okay, let me go to this. And by the way, the reason I have 27 ideas here is because I only want you to focus on 3 or 4 of them. How many? 3 or 4. Because you're gonna pick the ones that are closest to your personality profile. If you run across one, like for example, I'm not a cold caller. I have a lot of agents in my group that love making cold calls because they're high Ds. That's what high Ds do. I've never made a cold call in my real estate career. I just never made one. Still, I sold over 1,000 homes my first 10 years. So you're gonna do the business according to how it resonates with you, not according to, you go to a class and somebody tells you to do it this way. If it doesn't resonate with you and your personality, don't do it that way. Okay, that's what I'm gonna tell you. I do have another book that's really, really thick. This is only for those of you that are serious about mastering the listing game. This is out on Amazon. You can find the link on my website, Knolly.com also. It's called Success with Listings, okay? People wanna pick my brain all the time. Man, how'd you do 1,000 listings your first 10 years? So I went ahead and picked it. Took 450 pages. How many? 450 pages, okay? Trust me, it's well picked. And so this is the instruction manual for those of you that are like, look, I'm serious about this. I am definitely gonna dominate the game. And this book right here is on Amazon for like 20 bucks. And I guarantee you, if you hired me to teach you all this, I charge $1,500 an hour for one-on-one coaching. So you don't wanna hire me. Hold on a second. Amazon, stop. Okay, every time I say her name, she starts to get rowdy over here. Got to change her name over there. So, so this is Success with Listings. Highly recommend that you have it in your collection as well. This is the other book that I was telling you guys about, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. If you want to really work on getting a different way of thinking, this is the book right here. And this is written by Joseph Murphy, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. Super powerful book as well. All right, so with that, do we have any questions? Some of you guys are like, man, I don't even know what to ask him. That was a lot of information. All right, let's see.
I have questions.
Yeah, go for it.
So you're talking about the DISC profile, personality profile. I just took that. I'm a high I and high C.
Okay.
How do you then take that information, like you're saying that should tell you, where your focus should be? How do I find that out?
So let me pull up, because what I did was I took a lot of assessments from my group, and one of the favorite things that I do is I do these classes where I get on and I actually talk about like what your DISC is, and then I kind of share with you who you are and how you should approach the business. So that, just real quickly, I'm going to share with you that on a high I is likes to be around people, is a people person, can enjoy being the life of the party and having fun and all that. But then there's the C side of you, which is the compliance side, which is a very basically you're a Jekyll and Hyde. So in one area, you basically are very happy-go-lucky, easygoing, all that. But then on the other side, since you're high on compliance, you toe the line. You're very rigid. You like schedules. You like systems and things like that. So with that personality profile, what's going to be tricky for you is you're going to have to you'll be around people, but there's going to be a point when you're like, look, this is too much. And you're going to have to withdraw because you're probably just as comfortable in a book or by yourself as you are in a group. Okay.
Very true.
Yeah. And one of them is going to become overwhelming. Like you'll be, if you go out on a cruise, you're good. Then you got to go for 10 days on a retreat, but then the other is true. If you're secluded too much, you got to get back to you're around people again, so it's back and forth. So I think this works very well for a lister because on the one side, and by the way, how does that ring true for you? What I'm saying?
You're spot on. Spot
on, absolutely. So once you understand who you are, then it doesn't matter. Like most people would tell you that, what's your name again?
My name's Kathy.
Kathy, most people would tell you, Kathy, that you're not cut out to do listings. I'm just going to tell you what they would tell you because that's what they told me. When I took the test, when I was at Keller Williams for 10 years, I did 5 years at RE/MAX before I came to the #1 fastest growing company in the world for real estate and my home, eXp. Before I came here, they told me, you're not going to do good at listings. You should probably work with buyers. Okay, and that's what they would tell you because that's what your profile's telling you. But what Uncle Knolly's telling you is just find out how you're wired and then bring that to the game of listings, right? So you're a high I, so you have to protect yourself. You can't be even being a buyer agent, you can be around the client. The cool thing about do you work a lot of buyers right now, Kathy?
I am working a lot of buyers right now. I've done listings and I prefer them, but right now buyers are all I have.
The reason why buyers like you, Kathy, is because when you present the information, it's super detailed. Like it's meticulous, it's on point, you don't leave anything out. They love your reports, your information is spot on, right? And you're fun. You're fun to be around, right? So you actually have, I'm gonna tell you, you have the personality profile to be a killer buyer specialist. What I'm gonna also tell you is you can work 1/3 as many buyers as you can work sellers in the same amount of time. So the point is, if you learn to work sellers, and use your superpowers, that's what we call your superpower. If you learn to turn on your superpower with sellers, you'll get the same results and you'll be able to do 3 times as much business in the same amount of time. Does that make sense?
It does, and
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah. So that's what I would tell you, without getting too, down. I'm actually trying to find, because I've got people in my group that are ICs. I mean, it's real close to mine. I'm an ISC, which is even more Jekyll and Hyde-ish. Let me see if I can find that while we're on. Oh, here we go. This profile assessment. So let's see. I've got, and let me see if I've got this IC. I've got an ICS. So what I'm gonna do for you, Kathy, I'm gonna post an assessment that I did for somebody that is, I mean, I kind of did yours, but I usually like to take more time. We don't really have the time here, but the thing is that you really want to understand is that you have no D, okay? And by having no D presents a natural handicap for you in the real estate game, but that handicap can actually be to your success, actually. Once you understand where you're weak and where you're strong, if that makes sense. You bet. Somebody says, where do I find the profile that's best for realtors? There is no profile that's, and I may be misunderstanding the question. I don't believe that there's a profile that's best for realtors. I think that's a bunch of garbage. I've seen a lot of profiles. When I do my profile, it says that as a mega listing agent, I score as low as you can score. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm like a 0. Basically, I have 0 aptitude to be a mega lister. But yet, my last year in production, I did 153 listings, okay, as a solo agent. So I don't believe that there is a profile for a lister. Now, they'll tell you that it's a DI or an ID, but I think any profile can be a top listing specialist if you adapt. In fact, I know that's true because I know a lot of people with not the ideal profile that crush it in the listing game. Now, if you want to know where to take the DISC profile test, there's a university that actually has it for free. There's a bunch of them online, but let me give you the one. I'm gonna post here the one that I like the best. It's at 123test.com, but they have a bunch of tests on there. They're free because it's sponsored by a university, so they don't charge for it. Free is my favorite 4-letter word. I keep saying that, but that's just so true. So that's the DISC profile that I like. I just put it there in the chat, so you could have that as well. Okay.
Knolly, you were saying that you don't like to cold call. Hey, I think there's quite a bit of people that are kind of that same way.
Yeah.
Me, but so when you're calling your folks, are you calling the 3 that you talked about at the beginning? So you're basically reaching out to your past clients then in those calls, or?
Yeah. So your SOI. So the 3 buckets that I gave you: your SOI, your farm, and your niche. So the SOI is not a cold call; that's a warm call. I think sometimes it's a definition of the term. So a cold call is calling somebody like that doesn't know you. They don't even know you exist. Somebody outside of your sphere of influence. That's technically, in my definition, a cold call. But your warm audience is you have warm and hot, right? So you got cold, warm, and hot. So your warm is your people that know you. You should be calling those people. And it's just a real simple conversation. How are you doing today? I was just checking on Facebook, and I saw that you guys just got a new puppy. I saw that, that Geraldine just went off to college. I know it's been a couple of years since I've been in touch with you. Hopefully it hasn't been that long, but it probably has. If you're like most agents, okay? And you make a recommitment like, look, I'm recommitting to stay in touch with you at least a couple of times a year. I want to, would you be offended if I touch base with you a few times a year? They're going to say no. and then you basically tell them, look, you know, how are you doing? What's going on? How's your life? And then they tell you, well, we're doing this, that, whatever. You're just catching up with them. There's no agenda. You're not trying to get anything. You're not trying to sell anything. You're not trying to. And then they're going to say, well, how are you doing? You're going to say, you know what, I'm doing real well, but I do have a big problem. My problem's inventory. And maybe you can help me with that problem. And then you ask them, you know, who they know that's looking to buy or sell. I do see that we're over time. I never go over time, but I did today, just because we're having so much fun. But I see that we're over time. I apologize for that.
I know you're fine. You're fine. Lisa, I know we're a realtor here, and Lisa Medford asked, would you share your 28-point checklist?
It's a 46-step checklist. Yeah, that if you go to my is to join my coaching club, which is free. How much is it? Free, my favorite four-letter word.
The best free.
Yeah, so if you can get a hold of a lot of that stuff if you go to knollycoaching.com. Some people want to have my checklist and different things like that. Knollycoaching.com. It's also on my website, knolly.com. It's on the first page. So this is a coaching club that I used to charge $100 a month for you to be part of. But I just made it free. I opened up the doors like a month ago, and it has all that. So you actually have a username and password. You log in, and you can download forms and different things like that, and have access to that stuff. So, but yeah, it's a 46-step system that I use for the listings, and also you'll find it in my books. So it's in Triple My Listings if you have that book already, and it's also in Success with Listings, that checklist. And I do a lot of training videos on that checklist also on YouTube, if you're subscribed to my YouTube channel. Anything else before we, you guys head back to your productive day?
Buddy?
Somebody
type it. A couple people typing in. Hold on just
yeah, let me know what you thought of this. I want to see it. Has this been valuable for you? Throw it in the chat. Yeah. Okay. Somebody says thank you. This was awesome. This has been awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much for that feedback. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm here for you. You know, you can find me on Workplace. This is where all of us are right there on Workplace. And somebody says very valuable. So excited to get started. And then also, Lisa, if you wouldn't mind, you can share with them the YouTube video that I did, you know, on our YouTube channel for eXp. You can share it with the group, and I was actually just now looking for it. I know it's let me see. Hold on, let me go in my history. I'll find it real quick, because that's the one that's going to fill in the gaps also. For some of the stuff that we didn't get a chance to talk about today. Oh, here it is. I found it. Hold on. I don't want to put you on the spot, Lisa. I found it for you. Hold on. Let me just grab the link. I'm going to copy it. Okay, I'm going to throw the link in the chat. Yeah. I'm throwing Lisa under the bus. Like, hey, share this with me. She's like, I don't know where that is. Look, hey, and by the way, this is how you got to do stuff. So right now, even though I'm teaching this class, and a lot of the information that I shared with you, why not teach it with your people? You got agents that you brought to eXp, or somebody that's thinking about joining eXp. You know, teach this stuff to them. Help them. I mean, you might feel like, oh, I'm inadequate, but you can share 1 or 2 points. I'm on YouTube right now, and I gotta say, my YouTube audience, this is it right here, because look, I'm teaching a class in South Carolina while I'm in Puerto Rico. I don't know if you guys knew that. I moved to Puerto Rico less than a year ago, and I'm hanging out, and I'm able to teach a class in South Carolina. That is, to me, like, I was gonna say dope. I don't know if that would fly here, but that's incredible. That's incredible. How's that? Yeah. So I love it. I love it. And document what you're doing. You know, document it on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Let people know what you're doing. The good and the bad. I do that as well. Although I'm not on TikTok yet. Somebody was telling me I should get a TikTok account. Um, but yeah, I'm very thankful for this opportunity. I really appreciate you guys inviting me. One last thing I'll say is that I do have a class coming up next Tuesday on how to get started with for sale by owners and expireds. And I'm going to be teaching for like an hour and a half. We might go for 2 hours. Expireds and FSBOs. So if you want to learn that game, just go to Knolly.com. There'll be a link to my upcoming live training. It's free. How much? Free. And it's, I actually had a guy go on my website and he reached out to me. He was like, man, I can't find anything to buy on your website. He was upset about it. And I was like, well, I don't really have that many things for sale. So, anyway, I'll work on that. But it's a free web seminar that I'm doing on how to dominate in expireds and for sale by owners. So if you found value here, that's going to be a whole new area of training that we're going to be going over on how to dominate that space. So with that, I love each one of you. Thank you for being here with me. And I will see you soon. When is the seminar? It's going to be next Tuesday, the 18th. And what time is it? Let me go to my website and see what time. I don't remember what time it is. Let me see. If you go to Knolly.com and you click on, here, I'll tell you where to go. Hold on. Somebody's asking what time it is. I should know what time it is. But I'm one of those that I look at my schedule the night before. I'm like, okay, I'm good. All right, so when you go to my website, Knolly.com, it'll be the blue link. It'll be a blue button that says Join Knolly's upcoming live event. Click on that, and it'll take you right into where you can register for the event. And let me see what time it is. I think it's from 11 to, it's taking a while to come up. But anyway, go there, check it out. It's in, oh, it's at 11. Somebody else knows. 11 Eastern. Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah. See how it is when you're so used to leveraging yourself, you don't even know. It's like, hey, when is that? Let me call my assistant. Hey, but I appreciate each of you. What company do you use to mail letters? That's Every Door Direct Mail, Lori, EDDM, Every Door Direct Mail. That's through the U.S. Postal Service. And there's a company called GotPrint, GOTPRINT, that will mail those for you for a nominal cost. There's one other question. I know we got to clear the room, but what do you use to get listings in a specific neighborhood? I got a listing that got multiple offers, and so far it would be more expensive, the most expensive house in that neighborhood. Okay, yeah, so when you have this is a question that I got earlier on, and I wanted to come back to it. And this was from Lori, if she's still in the room. So Lori, what you're going to want to do to get more listings around that listing is what we call circle prospecting. So, I can't teach in detail about that here, but circle prospecting is what you want to do around that. And you'll find out how to do that in my book, Triple My Listings. I go into detail on how to do, and then I have YouTube videos about circle prospecting also. But that's how you're going to get a lot more listings in that neighborhood, along with a lot of other strategies that you could be doing, like when it goes contract pending, okay? You can have just went pending. You can have a postcard that goes out to like 100 houses around there. There's a lot of strategies that go beyond the scope of the time I have here. But yeah, you definitely want to take, if you got a listing and it's going under contract, you want to take advantage of getting more listings. Because listings have babies. That's the cool thing about them. They have babies. From every listing that I took, I expected 2 more listings and a buyer from every listing. Or sometimes I get 2 buyers and 1 more listing from that listing. So from every listing that you take, you actually should have 4 closings. From every listing you take, you should have 4 closings. All right, I really am ending now. Thank you for the opportunity. I love you, and I'll be back soon.
Thank you so much, Knolly. This was awesome.
Appreciate it. My pleasure. Bye-bye. God bless.
Have a great one.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. All right, that's it. And hope you got value out of that too. That's me teaching a class in the eXp world. You know, a lot of people made fun of the world when they first saw it. But the cool thing about the world is, you know, I can be here in Puerto Rico, where I'm at right now. This week I'm in Puerto Rico. You know, you can see that's my view outside. And I'm a little under the weather, but that's cool because guess what? I didn't have to get on a plane. I didn't have to travel. And we have, you know, hundreds and hundreds of people in our South Carolina group. That was our state group that I just got finished teaching in. And we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people there. And I can actually teach a class while I'm here. So that's the beauty of eXp. And, you know, you could be in two places at the same time, baby. That's what's up. All right, until next time, I'm out. Laters.